So I'm gonna be doing play recaps. I took a total of 3 trades today. Tesla puts, IWM puts, and then IWM calls. I only alerted one on the Discord just because I know we had news. I'm pretty sure we had news. We have PMI today at 10 a.m. and then 10:30 a.m., right? So I had to keep that in mind. So I didn't want to just call out any play. Now I did take Tesla, I think 5 minutes into market open, right? So what I did with Tesla, right? So yesterday if you guys know a little bit about yesterday, I called out Tesla for puts around this break right here, right? I ended up getting stopped out because I got faked out, right? So I kept this in mind. It didn't give me the full break that I wanted right here, so I said to myself, if it ends up breaking again, I am going to take. Now today, what I did, I don't usually do this. I don't use pre-market or none of that, but today I decided to mark my pre-market high, right? And then if I would have marked my pre-market low right here, I could have caught this whole move, but I marked it right here on the previous after hours from yesterday, right? So I marked that pre-market low, and I decided to try that today. Now I just took it off when market opened, but I had those levels marked, right? So what I did right here, I took entry when it broke that pre-market low. Now, mind you, this is risky just because, okay, the 5 minute VWAP, it's right there, like kind of below it, right? It's not clear enough until right here, right? So I kind of took a risk right there. I just basically went off levels and my strategy, which is my 4 hour insight strategy, just took the break. And yeah, I had it went and it reached my first TP of 172.17. Now, what I wanted originally to happen was Tesla to, you know, started going up and I wanted it to break down to 170. It didn't do that. But I managed to catch a good trade off my one level. I took 174 to 172. That's a good move, right? This gave me I skilled out my full position around 26%. Not full position, but 95% of my position around 26-30%, right? Now, it did give me, I think it did ended up giving me, because I think I took full profit around here, and then it kind of wicked above, right? But it never stopped me out because the thing with, well, the thing when I trim, guys, when I take my full position off, and if I have runners, I usually what I do is I just bring my stop loss to break even, right? So this is what I did. I brought my stop loss to break even. And yeah, ended up going back down. This is where I thought it was gonna break to give us that 170, but it didn't do that. And then my runners got stopped at break even. So yeah, that was kind of my first trade that I took. It was more of a I took it on my own trade just because it was a little bit risky, just because it was like right at market open, and with news, 30 minutes, it could affect it, right? So let's go to my second trade, which was IWM. So IWM, I took 2 plays. I caught both sides. I didn't alert this one, but I did alert this one. But let's go to the first puts play on what I was thinking. Okay, so as you guys can see right here, we have this gap up on IWM, right? It's a weak gap, not even like a dollar, right? Um, I see it couldn't hold that gap up, right? It couldn't hold that price. Right now, my VWAP is already telling me, okay, it's below VWAP. If you knew a little bit about VWAP, it's volume weighted average. Usually if it's below your VWAP, you are looking for puts, right? If it's above your VWAP, you're looking for calls. So right here, it was already giving me like a sell signal. I waited for this. Now it created this fair value gap. I got in right here. Now this is where I was in before news. When I was in this IWM play, I was still managing my Tesla runners position, right? So came right here and it gave me this big wick down. I trimmed that 25% and then it ended up giving me 40%. If you guys don't know, if I hit 40%, I'm 95%. Now I'm 95. I mean, my bad. Blah, blah, blah. I'm 95 percent out of my position, right, guys? So this wick news, it made it wick down, and I'm fully out at 40%. I said, oh, I do not want to play. I didn't like this whole wick back up, right? It still would have stopped me out in the later run, right? So got out right here. I waited for this. Now this is where I come into my second play. So IWM, right? IWM, right? What I did was mark the high of IWM, which would be a break of structure. Um, I seen this. It goes above my VWAP, indicating a buy signal, right? It creates this fair value gap. I mark it. I alert calls. Let me see. I alert calls at 10:33 a.m. Right? 10:33 a.m. What is this right here? 10:25. So around this candle, I got filled. Now, as you guys can see, it didn't fully come touch to my fair value gap, but if you guys seen, my fair value gap videos, which will come out soon, I like to get in when it starts to get close. I like to start to size in. And yeah, that's what I did here. Shout out to Lalo for teaching me that. So, but yeah, I like to size in um when it starts to get close, because a lot of the times it's gonna come get close, and it's just gonna go up, right? So I started to size in. I sized in more here on the break of structure, and this whole move to this wick above gave me 60% on zero TDs, guys. Now, if you guys know a little bit about zero TDs, those move fast, right? And they pay very fast, right? So what did I tell you guys? If you guys are gonna go see that fair value gap videos, when I'm looking for a fair value gap, I'm looking for pure scalps in and out, right? Especially when you're in zero TDs, meaning that your contract expires that same day, right? So theta starts to kick those in the butt much more than weeklies, right? So yeah, I took my full position right here, 60%. Now, here was where my mistake. I could have caught this whole move up to my full TP, right? Um, this was just 20 cents off my first TP, but I decided to take it at 60. Now I was in runners. Now what I usually do with runners is, okay, I put my runner stop loss to break even. So I think this time I put a 20% stop loss plus 20%. And then this is what made me stop. But as you guys can see, this was screaming hold. It was holding the EMAs on the 5 minute. It was just a 5 minute 9 EMA bounce. This could have been a dip buy, and then on the 15 minute, it was just holding those EMAs, confirming. It had a golden cross right here on the 15 minute, right? What is a golden cross? It's usually when the 9 and the 21 EMA cross. So this was a very bullish signal. And yeah, overall, I'm happy with this trade. We ended up selling for 60%. Runners sold them for 20+%. And yeah, I see what I could have done better. I could have held. But realistically, guys, this in zero TDs is probably would have scared a lot of you guys, right? Just because zero TDs, they move very fast and they could go into the negatives real quick. So one of the mistakes a lot of traders do is they want to bag hold. And then it kind of bites them in the ass a little bit, right? Because then you go from a green trade to a red trade. Never let a green trade go red, guys. Always trim, just in case it does want to pull back. You feel a little bit more comfortable just because you took profits. You're like, okay, these go. If not, so be it. I put my stop at break even. I'm not winning anything, but at the same time, I'm not losing anything, right? So that risk management is on point. Yeah, so I know what I did wrong here. Instead of having my original runner at break even, I decided to put it at 20+%. It did stop me out on this pullback, right? But it was all screaming hold, right? Like I said, I'm fine with taking 60%. I secured 95% of my position up here. So, I got paid. So yeah, this is the trades that I took today. Yeah, this was my first CP later on in the day. it touched my first CP. Now it's at my weekly resistance. Look at this level on point, right? So if it invalidates this weekly resistance, you know, it's going to do something like, it's going to break above, and then resistance turns into support here, right? If you guys know a little bit about support and resistance level, resistance turns into support, and then yeah, it'll continue to go down. But yeah, that's just how I caught these plays today. I hope you guys understood a little bit about my headspace into going to these trades, and yeah, on why I took them.